On October 3rd, 2:40 a.m., give or take a few seconds, I was roused into waking up when I overheard my vintage contemporary's 1991 copy of American Psycho dislodge itself from its case like a raccoon sniffing that white powder. For a moment, I was worried someone was breaking in, until I heard it start singing me Man on the Corner by Genesis. I've never felt more relieved. As someone, something, it's a book that I've been obsessed with for years. Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho, a scary tale about what happens when a person eats somebody, has taken on so many different forms that I find my ideal one is a Frankenstein's mindster of all of them. Detective Freakster from the comics, Benjamin Walker's performance from the musical, the camera work from the movie, Bateman and Evelyn's backstory and rules of attraction, Bateman's married life from the emails, the humor from the book, Bateman's resurrection and death in Lunar Park, even Rachel Newman from the unofficial sequel I have a soft spot for.
This may be a waste of a rare mind, but a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do.
Even as we're uttering this, like a cow, that list will continue to expand, given that Luca Guadagnino is hard at work on the American Psycho's modern-day movie adaptation, an idea tossed around in rumors for years now. Still, for a media whose centerpiece is the killings, murders, and slaughters of titular 1980s Wall Street banker Patrick Bateman, I find that I get distracted by a different character more often than I ever could have guessed. Tim Price.
He presents himself as this harmless old cod who inside.
Past. What do you mean, the past? No clue. Taxi! Raven!
In every version of American Psycho, Tim Price is one of Bateman's closest Wall Street buddies, alongside Craig McDermott and David Van Patten. They all work at the same investment bank, and they break the bank, and they all work at the same position as vice president at the bank, and when they break they splooge, try to court, and when they splooge they snort that white powder they score in the bathrooms of their least favorite clubs. Yet, at the center of Tim Price is a vortex, an inconsistency, something undecided, constructed through the multiple adaptations which have changed the character slightly enough to make the different versions incompatible with each other, all of which wrap around the... To understand what I mean, let's go back to the olden days, 1991. If you are familiar with the material at all, you'd understand that the novel is narrated by Patrick Bateman as his mask of sanity slips. His problem is that he lacks empathy, and his grip on the world is slipping with each page.
December slides into January, which mutates into February, which creeps towards March. There is a theory that obliterating Paul might have satisfied something, but no. I continue to have intense dreams of vivisection, and my nightly bloodlust overflows into my waking life.
Despite Bateman's violent outbursts, and emotional instability being a thing you start noticing about his personality fairly early on, the book still refrains for the first 130 of 399 pages, 32% for those who are wondering, from giving you any undeniable proof that Bateman isn't just bluffing to be cool. On page 131, Bateman has his first official kill, Al Lawrence, and Al's death breaks the seal. After Bateman heads to McDonald's to get an extra thick milkshake, a new murder scene happens on average every 30 pages afterwards, with increasing severity and description. The point is that the book opens when Bateman is at his most boring, which wouldn't work as well of a hook as if he weren't hanging out with Tim Price, the guy who has everything going on. In the first 7 pages, Tim Price is constantly freaking out. He hates his job, thinks dyslexia is viral, howling about newspaper headlines, is nipping at the cab driver, crafting theories about homeless people. He's on steroids, whining about acne from the steroids, is having hot sex with Bateman's girlfriend behind his back, and is flirting with her in front of him.
I'm fairly certain that Timothy Bryce and Evelyn are having an affair. Timothy is the only interesting person I know.
For a short while, Tim Price is practically the top dog while Bateman's arc stalls, and the difference between the two of them is bark. Tim Price is all this going on in the first chapter, and what Bateman can offer in the second is 6 detailed pages of him just describing the things in his house. That is, until the defining incident where Bateman, Price, McDermott, Van Patten, and Jeremy Ridgers take a night out together. A club called Tunnel, named for the railroad tracks running through the building and leading into a seemingly endless... well, you know what. Price gets them in, gets McDermott and Van Patten tickets to the VIP room so they can leave him alone, and Price and Bateman head off to find Ricardo for that white powder. Tim is irritable, as usual, but the bad quality cocaine really sends him off the rails. Thanks, Sunday. He starts shouting about how he wants to get away, staring at the tracks disappearing into the tunnel in front of him, and then he makes a break for it. And I kid you not, he disappears from the plot for 321 pages of 399. It takes him 80% of the damn book to come back. For those who are wondering. After his breakdown, he's gone for more than 1 year, and when Price comes back, he's just not relevant anymore. It's the end of the book now. The last 16 pages. Pack it up, boys. At this point, Bateman already knows that his crime scenes have been covered up from the Miss Wolf chapter previous, and the very next chapter is the confirmation of the book's denial of closure with his lawyer joking off Bateman's confessions. Narratively, Tim's reappearance only serves as a reminder of both, 1, how badly Bateman's life destabilized after Tim left, and 2, a grim premonition that Bateman's life is returning to normal despite all Bateman's done. Tim comes back to tell Bateman that he works for Reed Robinson now. He also has a smudge on his forehead, maybe indicative of having partaken in some religious practice or rehab group while he was gone, but both details are as equally unimportant as each other. It's just not worth talking about. He's back to his irritated self in no time in the last chapter of the book. And now that we've understood that, okay guys, something was really wrong. I tried making dinner today. When I picked up the pasta, I closed my eyes, opened them again, there's no pasta. I tried boiling water, I closed my eyes, I opened them again, there's no water, there's no pot. I have a headache, I don't know what to do. There are no plates, no forks, no spoons. I grab them, close my eyes, they disappear. Where do they go? I try to sleep, but for unrelated reasons, my bed has caved into the wall, and so I have to outstretch my knee against a blanket to prevent myself from rolling into it entirely. And, yeah, the book. All your favorite tracks implied by the book are here. Cards at the end of the line. This is not an exit. Hip Hip by Huey. I really love the new direction this musical took in portraying the source material. Benjamin Walker's performance as Bateman is more charismatic than Christian Bale's portrayal, yet also with a meaner bark too. He's overall more unstable, partly due to the fact that Bateman inherits a lot of Tim Price's early lines from the book. The scratching at the cab driver, the hissing about newspaper headlines, the steroid use, it's all Bateman's now, and Tim is left with an overall calmer personality. Does he still run down the tracks? Yes, though only because he is now chasing Bateman, who has to break down a tunnel instead. The way Tim Price gets around not having a real reason to disappear is by making Tim's actor also play the role of Al, and